So before the season, when Daniel Jones was named the starter for the Indianapolis Colts, as part of our Dean's List, which we do every day at in the first part of the 3 o'clock hour, or second part of the 3 o'clock hour, I should say, I put triangle college quarterbacks because that meant former NC State quarterback Russell Wilson was a week one starter for the Giants. Former UNC quarterback Drake Maye, who's playing against the Panthers this week, was a day one starter for the Patriots, and Daniel Jones, Duke quarterback, day one starter. So they each had one. So I put them all on there. It was a fun little conversation. And I looked at my planner and I put hey, check back up, see how they're doing. And I thought this was a good week when I was putting it in my notes because Drake was playing against the Panthers. And then today when I got to work, looked at my little rundown, and I was like, oh, let's do it. And I think it's a great way, looking at these three over the last 3 games. They've only played 3 games this year. It's a 17-game season, so we're, just a couple steps into a marathon. Those 3 show exactly why NFL quarterbacks are constantly under pressure. And I'm gonna use those 3 as some kind of Aesop's fable, some kind of tortoise and the hare situation. They're going to be the characters in a story that will teach a lesson or display a lesson to young quarterbacks like Bryce Young and to those of us that scrutinize and put them under a microscope. Sometimes maybe a little harsh. Russ Wilson, Daniel Jones, Drake Maye. 3 weeks ago, think about where they were. Daniel Jones, journeyman at best, undeserving starter at worst. Most probably saw him as some kind of a placeholder until they could go back to Anthony Richardson and decide for once and all if he had the ability to reach his potential. What is he now? I mean, he's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. If you use fantasy statistics, he's like a top 3 quarterback in the league. He's running, he's throwing, he's Indiana Jones. He's already got a new nickname. The Indianapolis Colts, I mean, I don't know if they've done so publicly, but I guarantee you, behind closed doors, they're already talking about if he keeps playing like this, how much is it going to cost us to bring him back next year? Think about that. I have a list right here of players that had a better passer rating than Daniel Jones last season before the Giants released him and he spent a little bit of time practice squad and the like with Minnesota. All of these players played at least 7 or started at least 7 games. So this isn't like somebody came in for a fourth quarter and completed 2 passes and I'm like, better passer rating. They started at least 7 games. These players had a better passer rating last year than Daniel Jones. Mac Jones, Jameis Winston, Gardner Minshew, Will Levis, Cooper Rush, Aiden O'Connell. None of them were given a chance to start without an injury happening this season. Yet he did. And now 3 weeks later, he would feel so out of place with that group. They were better than him last year. Now let's look at Russ Wilson. Going into the season, what was he? He was the safe veteran option in what could only be described as a reality television show of a quarterback room. It was Russ Wilson, first-round pick Jackson Dart, who has some personality of his own, Jameis Winston, who famous Jameis, and Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets, that group. Russ was if Brian Dable and Joe Shane are gonna keep their job, Russ is gonna have to help them win. They're playing the established veteran who's a borderline Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, been to 2 Super Bowls, double-digit Pro Bowls, statistically really darn impressive. And then in his second game starting for the Giants, he threw for 450 yards. Russell Wilson has had 202 career games. Week 2 this year against the Cowboys, he threw for the second most yards he has ever thrown for, 450 yards. His career best is just 452. He was benched 9 days later. 9 days later, he was benched, and I'm not convinced he's ever going to start a football game in the NFL again. barring injury. If somebody gets hurt, that's a different beast. But I'm not convinced somebody's going to toss him the keys to a franchise again. Borderline Hall of Famer. And then there's Drake Maye. Drake Maye's been kind of balling out. He's been the advanced analytics love him. He's been making plays. He doesn't have a ton of help around him. He's been working hard. He's been running for a lot of first downs. He has like 21, 22 carries, almost half of them for first downs, rushing touchdown. But his team hasn't backed him up. There's been some drops. There's been some fumbles. He's participating in a little turnover fest there occasionally, and they're 1-2. I don't think his standing in the league has changed much at all in the first 3 games. That's the pressure. Everything I just described is the pressure that is hanging over NFL quarterbacks. In a what have you done for me lately league that doesn't play, compared to other sports, that many games per season, 3 games can dramatically change the outlook of your career. Daniel Jones, 3 games ago, no guarantee he was going to be around in Indy for the rest of the year. No guarantees he was going to be active for the rest of the year. Now he's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and his entire financial outlook has changed, all of it. Reverse for Russell Wilson. If the Giants were 3-0 right now, he and Malik Neighbors had chemistry, who knows what the future would look like for him. In New York City / New Jersey, in a market like that, with his fame score and his high-profile famous wife and everything that he brings, sky would have been the limit. And he probably thought, like, hey, 450 yards week 2. I know we didn't win, but I was balling. Look at me. 9 days later, he's benched. That's why it is so crucial to every game understand that somebody like Bryce Young has the world on his shoulders. 3 games from now, Bryce Young could have started the last game he'll ever start in the NFL. If it goes that south, if it goes that poorly, if it goes like it did the first 2 games of last year, he might get another shot as a backup somewhere, but think of like a Josh Rosen. He didn't get a lot of opportunities to keep starting once he left the original team. Meanwhile, think about it like this. If something clicks, he has his little Daniel Jones glow up and he has 9 total touchdowns and no interceptions over the next 3 games. Panthers might be getting ready to offer him a contract extension this upcoming offseason. That much is, and by the way, a quarterback contract extension, even if it's a bad one given out by the team, you're guaranteed, what, like 60, 70, $80 million. Like, that's what's on your shoulders. How would you treat it, like at your job? The big promotion or the big sales presentation. If you knew, hey, I've got 3 sales presentations, 1 a week for the next 3 weeks. If I crush them, I'm going to walk away with $70 million guaranteed. If I do poorly, if I fumble, if I forget my points, I may never work in this industry again. How would you react, right? It'd be pretty nerve-wracking, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty nerve-wracking. And then there's the Drake Maye of it all, which in its own weird way is a different level of frustrating, which is you can feel like you're doing everything right. You can put in the work. You can be making the good decisions. Your coach could be saying you're on film doing great things, and 3 weeks later be neither better nor worse. Just kind of be treading water and be 1-2 and going, gosh, when is that dramatic 3-game swing going to happen for me? It's wildly high pressure filled, wildly dependent on your teammates, which is why I think like underrated is free agency decisions on where you go, maybe not going to where there's the most money, going to where there's the help and the coaches that you think can develop you, because then the big money will come on the next contract, which, by the way, there are reports out there coming into now that the myth of Danny Dimes and Daniel Jones is being told that he took less money than other offers to go to Indianapolis, because he saw something there that he was into. Yeah,
something about that offense and with Shane Steichen, it really fit his skill set, which is smart on him.
Exactly.
Go to the coach and system that's going to best fit you.
In a weird way, quick side tangent.
Yeah.
top recruit quarterbacks out there, take that into account. I know NIL money is flashy. I know $225,000 is more than $200,000, but go into a place that has plans for you, has an offense that fits you, has a sporting cast, path to playing time, all those things. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. These guys a lot of times can't choose. The free agents can. Russell could if he had multiple offers. Daniel Jones obviously could if he turned down other offers. Drake couldn't decide, so it's a little different. Bryce Young couldn't decide, so it's a little different. But it's important to recognize the pressure that these guys are under and the knowledge that until you become, Lamar, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, until you become one of those guys, you're not guaranteed next month, let alone next year, as a quarterback in the NFL. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So actually we can't even have on the Dean's list the Triangle School's former quarterbacks anymore because they're down to just 2 starting quarterbacks in the NFL because Russ is backing up Ole Miss. Another ACC loss to the SEC, even though, what we'll say? We'll say the Big Ten lost to the SEC.
In that case, the Big Ten lost.
When Russ was starting, we were claiming him as the ACC. When he gets benched, what is that Wisconsin quarterback doing on the bench? Tired of that whole pack of Badgers nonsense.